All right, morning. I was going to do a quick run through an update of what we got going on with the Red Rover that we've got here at the shop, and kind of go through the procedures and what we kind of run through once we get these old Rovers that have sat for a while. Most all of these classics were parked or sat because of fuel pump issues. This one, the fuel pump does not have an access door, so it's actually under the carpet here. So I'm going to take all this out and pull it up, which is been kind of a pain in the ass so far, since this tailgate is the handles are missing and the little doweled actuators won't allow it to open. How we got to this point was after we put the battery jumper up to it. Around here. It would crank, but it would not fire. It started with a little bit of starter fluid. The next thing we did was use a 15 millimeter wrench, take off the incoming fuel line that goes back to the tank, cranked it again, no fuel. So at that point, the next thing to check is the fuel pump relay, which is located under the passenger seat with a couple other relays. I believe it was this one. So you hook up a jumper like this to the two wires, and that will manually have the fuel pump engage. The idea is to kind of pump out all the bad fuel that's been sitting over time as kind of a quick fuel system flush. But nothing came of that. So now we're back where we started with trying to pull the fuel pump. So I'll update you in a little bit. Once I get to it, it's pretty hot out here and it's kind of annoying to pull it out this time, but we'll see. Each one of these Rovers has its own quirks and issues that caused it to sit in the first place, so it's probably going to take a while to figure out what exactly that was and how to remedy it. The idea for this one is just going to get it running. It won't be driving or operable for a little bit of time, but if we can manage to get it running, then I think that's the first step. We also found out that the ABS brake unit here is leaking from a hard line, so we're gonna have to look into that as well. But so far I've got the interior towards the back end, kind of take it apart, and we'll see how far I get into pulling that fuel pump out and seeing what's going on back there. All right, after you get the carpet out, you have to take up this padding. This sound deadening stuff is really one of the main reasons why rust it accumulates when water gets into these things. It kind of traps the moisture under there, and you end up with floors that kind of look like this, which is pretty terrible. These are riveted in, so you're gonna have to drill these rivets out to kind of take this aluminum piece of, it looks like a roof shed material up and out, and that'll give you access to the fuel system and the fuel tank of the truck. So you can kind of pull these back for access, and then you have to get usually I just get a drill with a decent bit and just start drilling it out to kind of get that floor up. That's really the only way to go with it. All right, the next thing you got to do, at least to get this floor panel out, is 17 millimeter socket. You have to remove these seatbelt restraint posts, whatever you want to call them. Usually an impact works best, and you just want to try to get these out, and that'll pretty much release everything but the rivets at this point. All right, so 30 minutes later, here I am. This bolt and nut that holds the seatbelt restraint in is absolutely not wanting to give. Under the car, there's a two-piece holder bracket that you can't really see. I'll try to show you here. Up in there, that is just absolutely not giving way. I also might have shadowed this brake line a little bit trying to get to it, but that's not really here nor there. So yeah, that's kind of where we're stuck, which is not gonna let us release this bottom floor. So maybe I'm probably gonna have to cut that bolt off or just keep pounding on it, but we'll see. I'll give it the old college try for another 5 minutes or so, then probably give up and cut it off. All right, minor success using the pry bar. I was able to forcefully gain entrance to the back hatch here. These are rusted shut, the latches, and the little, you can't even see it, a little dowel, I guess, that's actuated through this switch here to pull them back and forth, is gone. It's missing. I mean, it's not even, there's the end of it, and there, it's not even connected to anything, so a little bit of brute force is really the only thing that's gonna get this thing give. Still haven't got that out, but we'll keep pounding on it. All right, so more torque, a little more pressure, and we got the bolt out. So next thing left to do is try to, pop out some more of these rivets and then yank on her. And that is sweet, sweet victory. As you can see, man, this is rough. I don't know why I do this, but there's your fuel pump in there. Let me grab a Phillips head and see if that'll come out. There's your fuel pump, some terribly rusty fuel lines. There's the sender where the gauge is and everything. Yeah, this thing's a little rusty, but that's kind of part of the fun of it. And if any of you guys have these early Rovers, I mean, this is what you have to do to service these things. This one and drop the tank. So, no starts the starter fluid. Jump the fuel pump relay. If that does nothing, it's most likely your fuel pump. I'm assuming it's getting power because the gauge is reading. And so we'll pull this out, and I can already smell the bad gas, and go from there. We'll probably have to order up a new fuel pump just to see if it'll run. Once we get the fuel pump running, we can pump the bad gas out and put some new gas in and see what we got. So stay tuned. And she's free. And not looking too pretty. Oh, Jesus. There's a good bit of rust in there. But yeah, that's how you get to the old fuel pump. Look how corroded and shot that is. I know just from looking at it that it's not good. So we'll just kind of ease her back in there. And definitely add that to the list for this 90 Classic.